He's a genius. He can do special things with the football.
Ball still in there. Pulisic! Hat-trick!
This one drops in. And forget away.
Golazo! Golazo! Golazo!
And we are back on the soccer show on sleepyhollowradio.com. I'm Kevin Aguirre, joined by Aidan Bowler, as always. And first thing for this episode we're going to talk about is the Premier League, of course. We're going to start off with Fulham against Chelsea, where Chelsea defeated Fulham only 1-0. There was a red card to American player Anthony Robinson. This was, of course, the West London derby. Mason Mount looked like he was the best player of the pitch, no doubt.
I would definitely agree with that. Mason Mount played very well. Werner, he continues to struggle.
Yeah, that with that miss,
that wide open miss. I mean, Fulham tested Chelsea a few times, and they definitely look like a strong opposition despite the loss.
Yeah, it was a much needed 3 points for Frank Lampard's side, especially when they were struggling before. Callum Hudson-Odoi though we agree that he needs more playing time. He's a bright spot.
He definitely does, and before you know it, he's going to be off to Bayern Munich, and he's the next Serge Gnabry, and he's done. He's really good. He has a lot of potential, so they just got to keep working him, and this team's got to keep staying positive.
I really like the fact that Frank Lampard does speak very positively about Timo Werner, saying he just needs to continue to work. It's on the pitch, on the practice pitch, and he's got to keep a positive attitude for him to do better in this.
It's definitely good. He's kind of speaking in a positive sense and not just he's defending his players, and that's what you want as a manager.
Absolutely. And we're gonna move on to Wolves against West Brom. This was a pretty intensive game, the Black County Derby, with Mateus Pereira from West Brom scoring 2 penalties and Semi Ajayi with the goal as well. He's been contributing a lot, and considering as a defender, he's been doing really well this season.
And then obviously looking at Wolves, they're continuing to struggle without Raul Jimenez, and their defense collapsed if you're going to have 2 fouls inside the box in the same game.
It's really devastating to see Wolves like this, just because you lose your top striker. It shouldn't mean you should be struggling a lot, considering now they're 14th right now in the league. This is not good news, considering this is where Arsenal was when they were having consecutive losses, and it's just they just need to pick their heads up and just keep going.
They need to get back into it.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Leeds against Brighton and Hove Albion. This is a much needed 1-0 win to Brighton. Neil Maupay scores the only goal. Leeds, despite dominating possessions, they struggled to create chances. Leeds have struggled, and
Leeds is continuing to struggle in 2021.
Yeah, they haven't scored a single goal. This is crazy. But like I said, it's much needed points for Brighton, who currently are 16th. They're still fighting relegation.
No, Brighton's still they're fighting relegation. Leeds could be fighting relegation soon. Obviously, what was so effective about this team early on was they had such a high press that kind of affected any team they played. And now that players like Calvin Phillips, they all kind of seem tired. So that press is kind of faded, and now they're just this regular kind of team with nothing unique about them.
Absolutely, and this is a much needed goal for Neil Maupay as well. He ended his goal drought, and he's back where he belongs, just scoring goals in the Premier League. But we're gonna move on to West Ham against Burnley. Mikel Antonio has had a major impact on this West Ham attack. He has proven so far that he's good enough to replace Sebastian Aller, who went to Ajax despite not living up to his potential. We know Aller, he signed from Eintracht Frankfurt to West Ham, but there hasn't been a big impact on this club.
There has not, and I think Mikel Antonio is kind of proving why he is the striker at this club.
And the 3 clean sheets in their last 3 Premier League matches. I think West Ham, they're pretty solid right now.
They're making a good run,
which is crazy. Next up, Sheffield United against Tottenham. This was a big match for both teams. We know Sheffield United, they've come from 2 consecutive wins in all competitions. Tottenham at the same time, they're looking to build upon to challenge for the title, but in the end it was a 3-1 win to Tottenham, expected result, and a much needed confidence booster for the club.
And that goal by Ndombele with the no-look volley, that was spectacular.
I really do think that earned goal of the match week. I think he's underrated. I don't think he, a lot of people call him a flop, saying, oh, he came from Lyon, he hasn't produced enough. He is good. It's just good. That if you look at only goals and assists, obviously you're not going to be seeing much, but in terms of like quality, like skill with the ball,
he's a
got
very
it.
strong presence on the
He has got
midfield.
Absolutely. We're going now to Leicester against Southampton. This was just a comfortable 2-0 win for Leicester as they cruise towards the top 3 part of the table. Yuri Tielemans was the man of the match with 2 assists. Both James Maddison and Harvey Barnes scored as Leicester and Brendan Rodgers get the job done. Liverpool, this is like the most anticipated match of the weekend. Liverpool against Manchester United. Let's be honest, this was a pretty boring and overhyped
I would definitely agree, and it's a disappointment for both sides, obviously.
Big credit, though, to Manchester United's back four, who they defended very well and cleared the ball when they had the chance.
That defense was playing extremely well. I'm also going to give credit before you go into kind of like breaking down this Liverpool.
Yeah.
Alisson had a magnificent game in goal.
Absolutely. I think, honestly, Alisson, Fabinho, and Henderson, they did what they could. I mean, but in terms of the rest of the squad, I mean, Salah, Firmino, Mane, they're completely dead. This is like I can like sort of like see this as Balotelli, Lambert, and Borini from 2014-15, which they spent over 900 minutes, in the Premier League without a single goal, and that's a trio. That's not a single player. That's a trio.
Three, and that's the front three, and
that is not going well. Like for Liverpool starting 2021, that they gotta get their form.
I was
back.
like looking at that game. I mean, they looked pretty lifeless. I know Firmino took a shot, and he had Robertson cutting in. Andy Robertson had a really good game.
He did, yeah. Absolutely.
There were a few. He's created probably the only chances they had.
Yeah.
And that one chance at the beginning, he was cutting in, and Firmino just kind of, it was a little selfish, but I know strikers, like, if you're going to have a nice shot, you're going to take it, but he's there for that shot.
And also, I was pretty impressed with Xherdan Shaqiri. He's had a good game. I think he deserves to be in the starting 11 for upcoming fixtures. I would suggest dropping Salah for Shaqiri, and maybe sticking someone like Origi for Firmino, and maybe Oxlade-Chamberlain could play the left. I mean, theoretically speaking, Oxlade-Chamberlain could play right wing or center mid, or just try him like in the left wing. And what I definitely want to say about Gini Wijnaldum, I know he's played 89 minutes in this game, but like I don't know if you've seen it, but he had like a little argument with Bruno Fernandes.
Oh yeah.
And like he looked a little like ticked off when he got subbed off. So I
definitely got a little chippy at the end.
I really do think, and considering Wijnaldum's not gonna, he doesn't want to renew his contract with Liverpool, I definitely see him going to Barca next season.
That'd be interesting. And Bruno Fernandes we haven't spoken about, like, they looked very frustrated.
Definitely.
He was he had that shot at the end, got blocked.
It wasn't the Bruno Fernandes we knew. Well, because this was like the champions of England from last season. This is going to be a really big test for Manchester United.
And a lot, like, people kind of saying like, does he need rest, Bruno Fernandes? Because he's always playing. Every match, he's playing the full 90.
For my opinion, I say absolutely. I would say just slot in Donny van de Beek, who hasn't had any playing time for next game. You just slot him in to help him boost his confidence, and just rest Bruno Fernandes. I mean, I think he deserves the break. It's nothing bad, honestly. It's just that you've been playing a lot. You've
get a reset.
Helped this team so much. You've made a big impact. Now just rest up and just like get ready for the next game that follows. I think that's pretty much
But a disappointing draw for both sides.
Disappointing, yeah. I would have at least wanted to see like a 1-1 draw or 2-2, but
just nothing.
Always 0-0 is not it.
No.
We're gonna go to Arsenal against Newcastle. This was a 3-0 win to the Gunners. Arsenal are back in their winning ways at the Emirates. 2 goals from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and 1 goal from Bukayo Saka sends the Gunners up to 10th in the league. A massive improvement from before. Thomas Partey and Emile Smith-Rowe each got an assist, as well as Cedric Suarez. Smith-Rowe now has 3 assists in 5 Premier League matches. A big youngster, not a future star for sure. As for Newcastle, they are in the relegation battle, currently in 15th. Newcastle has not won in 9 games in all competitions. This is the first brace for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang since the FA Cup final, and this is the Arsenal we remember and expect coming into this
Arsenal's
season.
back. It's definitely exciting to see for Arsenal fans. They were in such that rough spell, and kind of people were questioning, like, is Arteta the guy? Is he going to stay? and he's figured out this squad. Now he knows who he wants to wear. Lacazette running the top, Aubameyang fading in the back, and it's working. They're getting results they want.
Absolutely. And for Arsenal, I mean, I definitely see them challenging for an Europa League spot for sure if they continue this form, or maybe even like top 4. You never know.
They could definitely challenge. And now let's look at Crystal Palace at Manchester City.
Definitely Manchester City are dominant. They're back in their form.
Yeah, 4-0 win. Man City are back in second place. And
I'm just really surprised. John Stones, who scored 2 goals as a center back,
he is playing really well.
He never scores, first of all, and a lot of people questioned him back in the day. It's like, oh, he's pretty terrible. He's not the best defender Man City's looking for, but in this game, he's proved what he's worth. 2 goals for John Stones, 1 goal for Sterling and Gundogan.
That was a great, and also like credit to Devin De Bruyne. That was a great cross.
Yeah, I mean that's just typical Kevin De Bruyne. I couldn't tell you more. Like you should expect stuff like that from him. Also, Ruben Dias, since his move from Benfica, he hasn't been talked about a lot, but I think he needs a bit more appreciation.
That Manchester City back line is much improved compared to the beginning of the season.
And he knows how to defend.
He knows how to defend, and he's helped that whole line significantly.
Absolutely. So far, I definitely see Ruben Dias as a massive improvement compared to having Nicolas Otamendi in the back 4. We know they swapped literally like last season, well, before the season started in that summer transfer window. Manchester City seem to be the most consistent club in the Premier League at the moment. They have not dropped a point since December 15th in that draw against West Brom. As for Crystal Palace, they are now 14th in the league. 100. This is Kevin De Bruyne's 100th assist, and he's had more assists than
He's had the most assists since making his debut in 2015.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's expected. He's a wizard.
He's world class, absolutely.
So it's amazing to see for him. And now
we're going to Leicester City.
We're going to yesterday's games.
Yeah, it's a 2-0 win. It goes from Wilfred Ndidi and James Maddison. Tielemans and Maddison are showing that they're top class in the Premier League. I'll let you take this one, Aidan.
Okay, so we're going to start. 2-0 loss for Chelsea. Credit to Leicester City. That back line was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, agreed.
That defense played extremely well. I'll just take a quote from... We'll talk about Leicester first. Take a quote from James Maddison, one of their star players. He said, people talk about the Uniteds, the Liverpools, the Tottenhams, or whatever, but let's let them talk. We'll do our business in the background. And, yeah,
I think...
what they're doing.
Yeah, that's... I mean, obviously right now, Leicester, they're not recognized as a top 6 table, which is why they're not getting enough like hype or like appreciation. But you have to give big credits to them. Ever since winning the Premier League title in 2016, they've had massive improvements around the squad, bringing in new managers, new players. I mean, it's a big improvement from like when they were battling for relegation in 2015, and I think they've been doing so well.
They're a top flight club. They're at the top of the table right now.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this season actually, instead of going into the Europa League after choking a top 4 race,
they win the title, or
hopefully they win the
Champions League.
Absolutely,
it'd be exciting to see, and it's a club that definitely needs it.
And now for Chelsea.
Okay, so you bring in your club's greatest player to become manager for your club. Everyone's happy. Everyone's excited. Frank Lampard is your manager. He's the reason I became a fan. He's the reason so many people became fans of this club. He's gotten us Premier League titles, Champions League title. Everyone loves Lampard.
Yeah.
Chelsea have now lost 5 of their last 8. There's not really much creativity or new tactics being presented. Players are looking kind of lifeless. So he started Tony Rudiger over Kurt Zuma yesterday, and the last 2 games actually. And his whole response was kind of like, we need to switch it up, because if we're getting bad results, we need to put in new players.
I really do think.
I don't think switching up that partnership is the right move at all.
Zuma has more goals than most like Premier League strike, like Martial, Aubameyang, like
and also
top quality players.
The other thing is, why is Tony Rudiger our 3rd center back? Fikayo Tomori, who now is off to AC Milan, is significantly better than him. and he's kind of shown he can develop into a much better player than Rudiger.
Yeah, I really do think they should have kept. They should have kept.
And now there's
Tomori.
there's an option to buy for 30 million. So we could lose Tomori. He could be potentially a world-class center back. So
that is if he does really well.
if he does
Milan.
with Milan, but that's rough. Billy Gilmore should have been out there instead of Conte, but Lampard chose Kovacic, who's an attacking midfielder, to play in that holding role, which I'm not on board with.
Yeah, I'd definitely say you should start youngsters like Billy Gilmore. He's proven he's quality.
Havertz and Tammy, they played terribly yesterday. They were just frozen in the grass. And then I think this is the big thing, kind of like Mason Mount's the only player who does not stop working that full 90 minutes.
He's carrying the team.
He's carrying the team. He's the only player, like, when he loses a ball, he chases after it. He works hard the whole time. Other players will either lose the ball and just stand there, or they'll be afraid to take players on and just take that little safe pass. And that's not going to win you a Premier League title. It's not going to get you Champions League. If you can't beat top 6 teams, you don't deserve to be in the top 6.
I agree.
I think with this club right now, it's like really sad to say, but it's time for Lampard to go, and it's in the best interest of the club.
It's a hard decision, definitely, for the Chelsea board or for the Chelsea fans that considering like letting Frank Lampard go. It's gonna be a tough decision, obviously, because he's a club legend. No one really wants to disrespect him. He's done so much for the club.
It's not even in a disrespectful fashion. It's just like things aren't working.
It's what is needed. And to bring in someone like Thomas Tuchel, I think that would be a terrific signing.
Definitely, yeah, it's like right there.
Absolutely.
But I think in like Abramovich, he is a savage when it comes to these decisions.
Absolutely.
So I wouldn't be surprised if this happens like any day now. And he's really swift about it, so we'll see.
Yeah. Last game, we're gonna have West Ham against West Bromwich Albion, 2-1 win to the Hammers. Mateus Pereira continues to score for West Brom. However, it's not enough to secure the win for the Baggies. Jared Bowen and Michele Antonio are on fire as they both score to secure 3 points for West Ham. Said Benrahma made a major impact on this club, constantly creating chances.
He's playing really well.
And with the quality he showed since playing for Brentford in the Championship, bringing him to the West Ham, I thought honestly it would be like a permanent deal, but it's just on loan to see how he is. But who knows? Maybe West Ham could actually afford to keep him as a permanent.
Especially if they're selling Declan Rice.
Yeah,
they'll definitely have the money for it.
And we know he's been heavily linked with the move to Chelsea.
And also now Manchester City.
Yeah,
Pep Guardiola's getting in the race.
Yeah, with this win, West Ham will go up to 7th, and yeah, that's it for the Premier League. We're gonna be taking a short break, and we're gonna come back with the caller
discussing the Messi red card incident and the blanked. What was it?
In the Super Cup final.
Super Cup final.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
We're back on the Soccer Show on SleepyHollowRadio.com. We've got our first caller of 2021. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Hello, I'm Dave. I'm in 12th grade. And yeah.
All right. And we're going to be discussing the Spanish Super Cup final between Athletic Club de Bilbao and Barcelona, which ended in a 3-2 win to Athletic Club. Griezmann scored 2 goals. Villalibre scored 90th minute to equalize to make it 2-2, and Iñaki Williams scored a curler to make it 3-2. And surprising news, Messi has received a red card for the first time in his Barcelona career.
From swinging at Villalibre.
Yeah, Dave, what do you think about this red card?
I was watching the game, and it's like something you never expect from Messi.
Absolutely.
He seems very quiet usually.
It was very uncharacteristic of Messi, and it kind of expressed his frustration. I feel like he kind of just let it all out in that one moment.
Yeah, he's frustrated with the club. He's just if they can't win trophies anymore, what else can you do?
It's the 119th minute. He's definitely we just lost.
I agree with you. You could just see he was like, I'm done with this. Let's get me out of here, and he left it.
Yeah,
and he got banned for 2 games from it as well. Yeah.
2-game suspension.
That's crazy.
And just watching that game as well, Lionel Messi was the only player on Barcelona creating chances, and even that defense was so they were having trouble moving the ball that Messi would have to. He's the center forward. He would have to go run all the way back to the defense, past midfield, to receive the ball and carry it up himself, because that's how poor the rest of Barcelona is.
Yeah. because you can see they're so. Whenever other teams start pressuring them, they can't get out of their own half. So Messi has to pull back and just kind of get the team moving forward because no one's doing anything. It's just sad to see.
Yeah, and I also I did see the match, and I think Jordi Alba had like a not the best match.
Jordi Alba did not have the best match either.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. So that was for the I think the 2-2 goal in the 89th minute. So there's this free kick. They cross the ball, and then Jordi Alba just ducks under the ball.
He just doesn't. He doesn't mark his man.
Exactly. He should be clearing that no problem. I don't know what he was doing ducking the ball. But
it's not like it's a young player as well. He's been playing in first team soccer for like 15 years plus, and
he's one of the few players on Barcelona that are expected to play well.
Yeah.
Obviously now there's the whole thing with Barcelona is like all these like all the players Messi played with his whole life at Barcelona. They've all kind of left, retired, and now there's so few of them left who kind of have quality. And Messi, the president and the board, which now they need a new president.
Absolutely.
We're all trying to bring in all these new players to help Messi, build around Messi, give him a team, and it's just failed.
I think definitely for well, first of all, we definitely have to give big credit to Athletic Club. They managed to beat Real Madrid, now Barcelona, to win the Super Cup final.
All in the same week.
And it's crazy. But talking, like, going back to this Barca squad, do you see them potentially winning La Liga, Dave, or like another trophy this season?
They'd have a hard time because Atletico Madrid currently they're playing well. They're winning their games.
No, I agree.
They'd have to go on such a long run of wins without losses, and seeing how inconsistent they are, I just don't see that happening.
And this was like, it was so weird how like everyone was so optimistic about Barcelona. Like come January, they were just winning matches. They were playing really well, and they were like, "Oh, Super Cup final, here it is. Is our opportunity." Ronald Koeman can get his first ever title as a Barcelona manager, and
they choked it.
They just choked it.
Yeah.
They literally choked it. They were up 2-1, and then they had to concede that goal in the last minute to go into extra time. And in terms of Ronald Koeman and his managerial term so far with Barcelona, Dave, I want to ask you, do you think it's really his fault, or it's just the players themselves?
Or the presidents and the board?
I think it has to be the president. I think it's their mismanagement of the club for so many years. I think that's what's causing them harm. And I think what Ronald Koeman's trying to do is trying to try a new team, try a new system. And I think even though they're losing, he's started to figure it out little by little. But he's still not there yet. Maybe it'll be too late. Yeah.
It's very difficult. I mean, now Barcelona's in the middle of like a hiring process for a new president. I feel like as soon as like Barcelona's got their president, Messi's gonna walk into his office.
I think definitely. Yeah. For Messi, like, there's obviously a lot of speculation saying that after this red card, he's like he looks to be on his way out of Barcelona. But I think maybe with the new president coming in, maybe he'll stay like one more season to try things out. I mean, what do you think about that, Dave? What do you predict?
Yeah, I was more thinking of that. It's based on the president and what he offers. But they have to start winning, because why not say he's more out than in?
And like speaking about like just as Barcelona, Dave, what do you think the downfall will be of Barcelona when Messi leaves? Will it be like, I mean, when Ronaldo left Real Madrid, there was a slight downfall, but it wasn't terrible. But if Messi leaves, this team could be possibly like mid-table.
I see where you're coming from there. It's so different because Ronaldo, even though he's like probably him and Messi the best players ever to live pretty much, but the problem, Ronaldo's more of an attacker. He's like gets the ball and scores. But Messi's more different for Barcelona. He's like a midfielder. If you see him, he goes back to the defense, grabs the ball, and brings it forward. And once he's gone, and you can see whenever Messi doesn't play in matches, they rest him. The team playing so way down. The level just keeps going lower and lower. And I could see them dropping down the table.
It's like it's exactly what Dave said. Without Messi, this team, I don't think will produce as big or as many goals or produce as many wins as they normally do with him in the starting 11. And when he retires and when he just goes to a different club, things are going to be really different for Barcelona. They're not going to have to rely on one man anymore to, I wouldn't say carry the whole team, because technically speaking. We have players like De Jong, Pedri, who've proven that they're pure quality players. And yeah, for Messi to leave, it's gonna be bad news for Barcelona, and they're just gonna have to find a new way of playing.
Barcelona's been riding Messi's legacy for the last 20 years, and it's kind of ridiculous how like Messi's kind of still there, and like there's been so much. They haven't won a Champions League title in a while now.
Yeah,
I'm not sure they.
6 years, right?
Yeah,
6 years.
It's definitely been a while now, and it's like disappointing to see a club that like we used to like recall as like the super team, unstoppable. Iniesta, Messi, Ronaldinho. It's over.
It's looking to come to an end.
I forgot Suarez. Yeah, Suarez, Neymar, everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
Absolutely.
And they spend the most money, like one of the top spenders, and seeing them just fail and fail again, though with all the quality.
Definitely one of the most richest clubs in the world as of late, and to see, yeah, absolutely. Like there's speculation saying, oh, this is gonna be the new AC Milan, who were Champions League winners, who were Champions League finalists, who are now can't even compete for Europe, can't even qualify for Europe. But I don't know. It's gonna be pretty weird seeing Barcelona like with no European competition to play for. It'll
be weird.
Dave, do you have any questions for me or Aidan?
Nah, everything's good here. Enjoyed this chat.
Thank you for coming on the show.
We appreciate it.
And hope to have you on another time.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day. Okay, we're back. We're going to go through the rest of Europe now. So in the Bundesliga, Borussia Dortmund tied 1-1 with Mainz, and Bayern Munich defeated Freiburg 2-1.
Schalke lost again this time, unfortunately, to Eintracht Frankfurt, but when no other than, surprise, Luka Jovic came back to Frankfurt to score 2 critical goals to win the match. He equalized his goal tally back at Madrid. He scored 2 goals during his whole time at Madrid, and he comes back for this one game and he scores 2 goals.
Luka Jovic he made an immediate impact on that team, and it was kind of unexpected, to be honest. He just comes on as a sub, boom, 2 quick goals, right back in it.
And there's speculation saying that Luka Jovic under Zinedine Zidane, is it Zidane's fault that he wasn't able to be at his best? I really think it's just location, like where he's adapted to.
I think like, comfort.
Clearly it's comfort. He was an absolute like magician when he came to playing at Frankfurt. He was well known for scoring lots of goals for the club. When he comes to Madrid, it's new place, new people, new atmosphere. It's not as the same as back in Germany. So definitely that was a heavy contributor for Luka Jovic, and to see him score again, it's like really good to see him score.
It's definitely like feels good to see like Luka Jovic return to his club and score too.
Matthew Hoppe scores again, but we'll talk about him later on in the U.S. men's national team in review. Bayer Leverkusen yesterday defeated Borussia Dortmund 2-1, and Moussa Diaby and 17-year-old Florian Wirtz scored the winning goals. This guy is a big deal. A lot of speculation saying that he could be the next Kai Havertz from Leverkusen, but we just got to give him time. Like 17 years of age.
17 years.
And starting for in Bundesliga matches. This
is probably the most exciting Bundesliga year we've ever had. There's so many clubs in the race. There's 4 clubs in the race. Like Dortmund, Leipzig, Leverkusen, and Bayern Munich are all fighting for that title. And it's really cool to see.
That's really crazy. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to shift gears and we're going to go to the Serie A, where Inter defeated Juventus 2-0 to keep the title race more interesting than ever. This was a big game for both clubs, especially for Inter, who managed to actually beat Juventus. I actually thought Juventus were going to win this no problem. Nicolo Barella was the man of the match by assisting a goal to Arturo Vidal, who of course scored against his former club, and also Barella scored from a beautiful assist from Bastoni, the center back. It was like 90 yards out. That was a cool assist. Inter remains second. Meanwhile, Juventus are stuck in 5th place. You don't see that very often.
You don't see that, and it's kind of like not looking good for Andre Pirlo's men. And questions, because like right now I'm comparing to this to Chelsea. Like when things were going bad, when Lampard first became manager, they were like, oh, he's still figuring things out. I feel like that's kind of the same for Andre Pirlo right now. they're in that like honeymoon phase where it's like, oh, they're so excited, we got our best player at the club managing for us.
The thing with like Andrea Pirlo, like I don't want to disrespect him or anything, but the only like time he was ever like manager was for the Juventus U18.
He doesn't have much managerial experience.
Absolutely. And obviously I questioned like before they made the announcement that he was going to be the new manager for Juventus for the senior team. I was like, how much managerial experience does he have? Like, I don't think he has that much.
Like, I know.
And I questioned it a little bit because I think, isn't this a little too soon to make this decision?
Yeah, because it's like Lampard, he coached a year at Derby, so it's like, I guess that's enough, but we'll test it out. Pirlo, he coached a bunch of 18-year-olds, and they were like...
And he's going straight to the
he's
senior
going
team.
straight to the...
I didn't think that was a bold move from Juventus. Overall, I think they should have just let him, like, coach a few more years, and I don't know. I guess it's pretty hard to find a manager, but like at the same time, you shouldn't be rushing things.
When they were looking for Pirlo, Pochettino was on the market, and now Pochettino, he was on the market. Like, he's a great manager.
I mean, the thing now that we've learned so far is goes with Chelsea and Juventus, that signing your club legends, basically, they're not always going to be like, well, it's going to be exciting to see definitely, but they're not always going to pay off. Not every single game, obviously.
They're not always going to be that Zinedine Zidane at Real Madrid.
Absolutely. That's what I'm trying to say. And, yeah, I mean, with Luis Enrique as well, Barcelona legend, he's helped Barcelona so many, like, times, especially winning that, their last Champions League in Berlin. That was, like, a really good managerial term.
And now, the top of Serie A.
We've got Milan, who defeated Cagliari 2-0 with both goals from... coming from Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He is back and remained top of the table. Zlatan has scored at least one goal each calendar year since 1999. That is crazy.
I don't understand it. It's crazy. He's still doing it. I still scoring.
This man definitely is gonna go down as one of like the greatest strikers of all time. He's been so impactful to see. I honestly like to think that from going from LA Galaxy, like maybe you could end his career there in the MLS. It would be nice. But going back to Milan, seeing he's going back to the Serie A.
It's like, okay, he'll just ride the bench all day.
Yeah, and he's still scoring. That is ridiculous. And there's one more transfer which make things exciting, which we're gonna just talk about later on. But that's gonna be a good partnership.
Yeah, we can go right into those AC Milan transfers.
Yeah,
they got Mario Mandzukic.
Yeah, Mandzukic
back in Italy, and he joins AC Milan on free transfer.
And Ibrahimovic said he is looking forward to working with Mandzukic. Just imagine them two as strikers. That's gonna be deadly.
That's like unstoppable.
And they had a lot of goals like throughout the years. I mean, this is definitely a massive upgrade for Milan. And with Fiacco Tomori as well going on to Milan on loan from Chelsea.
Will improve the defender.
Yeah. And Danny Drinkwater as well from Chelsea has been loaned out to Turkish side Kasim Pasa. Sorry if I pronounced that wrongly, but Danny Drinkwater, like
ever since hasn't had much play time.
A little bit of a flop, I would consider.
Definitely.
Definitely. Yeah. I think he just should have stayed at Leicester. Not gonna lie, but it is what it is. David Abraham, Eintracht Frankfurt legend, has left the club to join Argentinian side Huracan on a free transfer. Kevin Strootman joins Italian side Genoa for free from Olympique de Marseille. We have Mesut Ozil, who officially left Arsenal and is now with Fenerbahce in Istanbul in Turkey. It's tough to see him.
It's tough to see him leave, and it was tough to see how like that whole Arsenal situation ended. Like
especially, and he hasn't. When was the last time he scored a goal? I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
It's been a while.
I didn't enjoy like seeing the club and Mesut Ozil leave on like bad terms.
I agree.
It was kind of sad to see, but hopefully he plays well.
Especially like during a pandemic, like where you have no fans allowed in the stadium. What I would have wanted from Mesut Ozil is like how they had the farewell celebration with Aaron Ramsey, with Petr Cech, where you have all like literally, and Arsene Wenger as well, all legends of the club. They just have everyone fill up the Emirates Stadium, just applaud and just like cheer them on.
I mean, he didn't even get like time on the bench barely.
Yeah.
So
also, former Arsenal man Jack Wilshere returns back to Bournemouth until the end of the season, so he will be playing Championship football. Klaas-Jan Huntelaar is set to return back to Schalke. Like Schalke, like are making like sort of good moves, especially like when it comes to like getting back players who once played for them. We have said Kolasinac who played for him, now Huntelaar. I mean, they are doing everything they can to escape
relegation.
They're doing everything in there.
I'm in on that train. Schalke escape relegation. I want to see it. I want to see them just barely escape.
Yeah, that's gonna be quite interesting. This is why Bundesliga is one of the best. Like, this Bundesliga is really amazing.
There's a lot of good storylines this year. It's not just Bayern Munich, Dortmund, and
it's relegation as well.
It's relegation battles.
Martin Odegaard looks set to leave Real Madrid from a lack of playing time. With this, I really think last year Martin Odegaard played for Real Sociedad and he was a baller. He
was so good, and then comes back to Madrid, doesn't do anything.
Yeah, Madrid. I think what they
time.
were doing is they were hoping that he would remain in that like, in that like quality that he was in Real Sociedad. He would bring the same amount of skills, the same personality he was at Real Sociedad. They would carry it on to Madrid, but that obviously wasn't the case.
I think like going to like a bigger, like going back to your home club, I feel like you kind of like, I don't know, he's just kind of a little less confident in his ability.
I really think Real Sociedad would have, like, if they signed him permanently, I think that would have been like a better deal for him. Would have been his career would have been much better there.
Maybe it's another like Luka Jovic situation.
I definitely
like in the reverse where he just goes back on loan to the same club.
Yeah. And David Alaba looks set to join Real Madrid per Fabrizio Romano, saying it has been a dream to play for Madrid. This looks to be on a free transfer. This backline is going to be really dominant, with Ferland Mendy continuing to emerge.
It's like that's Real Madrid just finding people fitting. I mean, he's obviously a veteran. He's very old, but he'll make an impact on that team.
Yeah, imagine Mendy, Alaba. Mendy hasn't had enough praise. He's been terrific for Real Madrid, and like filling in for Marcelo obviously is going to be tough shoes, but like we don't see Marcelo back in his prime now.
Yeah, no, we don't.
It's going to be nice with Mendy, Ramos, and David Alaba, and right back could be Carvajal. You could theoretically speaking, you could put Alaba left back, right back. At the same time, like I would give Varane a little, like I would bench Varane because I don't think he's been doing that.
Varane had such a terrific year last year, and he's kind of just fallen off.
Yeah,
I think it's crazy that like we're seeing these players in the later parts of their careers, like Mendy and Ramos, and now they're on the same team. Like at a point they were the two best center backs in all of Europe.
Absolutely,
it's just crazy to see how like
the downfall.
Not almost the downfall, but like just kind of like their careers are winding down. They're all coming together.
They're getting old. I mean, well, Varane, he's still pretty young.
Not Varane, but like Ramos and Alaba.
Yeah. We're going to go straight to the U.S. men's national team in review. We're going to start it off with Serginho Dest, who only played the first half in Barcelona's defeat against Bilbao. I don't know about this. I think Dest should have played.
He wasn't having a bad game.
It wasn't bad, but at the same time, like
the whole team was bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't Dest. That was the whole problem.
I don't know why they subbed him off, but either way, it's what it is. It's Ronald Koeman's tactics. Just have to go along with it. Matthew Hoppe scored for Schalke again in their defeat against Eintracht Frankfurt 3-1. He nutmegged the goalkeeper after a mistake from Frankfurt defender Martin Hinteregger. It was just a lack of miscommunication between him and the goalkeeper. But Hoppe did nutmeg goalkeeper Kevin Trapp in order to score, which is pretty cool. Weston McKennie got subbed on in Juve's 2-0 loss to Inter in the 58th minute.
He's finding his way back from injury, but he'll be back soon.
Josie Altidore returns to the official U.S. men's national team training ground and looks to play some matches in the upcoming future. Christian Pulisic played the full 90 minutes in that game against Fulham. He's gaining confidence and is taking on defenders slowly, emerging back to his summer form.
And then I saw an interview with Christian Pulisic, and he was talking about how the Premier League restart allowed him to focus only on soccer. He kind of felt less pressure without the fans, and that kind of attributed to his success. Now, like, there was a lot of pressure at him playing in such a big club, kind of questioning, like, is he capable enough? And this is a quote from him. He's like, my whole goal was, like, show this club I can play. And that's what he did.
Absolutely. And in terms of like playing without a crowd, I mean, definitely like it takes pressure off a lot, like almost all the players. But the thing is, like, you never know when this pandemic really could end, and fans could be back inside the stadium. And like once they come back inside the stadium, that obviously players are gonna they miss that feeling, but at the same time they have to like readjust to it because they've been playing now for almost a year.
Yeah,
without any fans.
We're nearing like a year without fans, and it's crazy. And he kind of described this. Now looking at the U.S. men's national team with Pulisic, like the 2020 American wave, where it's been everyone's at Europe now.
Yeah.
He said, quote, "This team could accomplish something in the near future. It's a full team having success in Europe," and he described it as no ceiling as their goals for 2021.
Yeah. I think definitely, like you said, it's a full team having success in Europe. It's crazy to see it because 5 years ago, U.S. men's national team players would either be in the MLS, you'd have one or two that will be playing in Europe, but now it's like completely different now.
And like what's crazy, the whole thing about, we would get excited when a U.S. men's national team player would play against clubs like Chelsea,
absolutely.
Barcelona,
big clubs,
Bayern, Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich as well, and now we have players on these teams.
Yeah, it's crazy to think like Americans playing against these big teams. It would show like this is like, okay, this would be the game. Is this guy really, really good? Like, does he have the quality to represent this nation for like upcoming games, like let's say World Cup qualifiers, Gold Cup? But it's really crazy how this transition for the U.S. men's national team, how it really happened, and I'm speechless because it's really crazy.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And obviously, moving on to Aguirre suffered a throat infection. He was unable to play for Dortmund, but he was back yesterday, which was good to see. He got subbed on. And Josh Sargent earned a start in a 2-0 win for Werder Bremen over Augsburg.
And I think that will conclude today's episode.
One last thing. USA has a match Sunday, January 31st against Trinidad and Tobago, which will be a good test for them.
Yeah.
And there's the MLS stars.
The MLS, yeah. And this is definitely a game for, like we said, Josie Altidore, who's came back. I think that's definitely going to be a good game. I think he might as well start
to see if he can still do it.
If he still has his form. Like, we know he's a bound goal scorer for the USA, and
over the years, definitely. But this is definitely a whole new wave of USA players. So it'll be interesting to see how that starting 11 kind of forms in the end as they push for the Gold Cup and then World Cup qualifying. Yeah, and hopefully make a run in the World Cup.
That's going to be a good test, and we should definitely see the U.S. players from Europe.
It'll be exciting to see. And that about wraps it up. Thank you guys. Yep. Thank you everyone for listening.
This has been the Soccer Show.
We'll see you next week.
You know, he's a genius. He can do special things with the football.
Ball still in there. Pulisic! Hat-trick!
This one drops in. And forget it.
¡Golazo! ¡Golazo!